record. Okay. All right, now
Huh?
we're recording. Yeah. Hi.
How's your
Uh,
weekend?
Good. We cleaned up on Sunday after the storm, and then leaves fell, and so now there's just a bunch of leaves in the yard again after all of that work we did.
Nice.
And then Saturday was a lazy day. I was really tired. I
Yeah.
just didn't want to do anything. How was your weekend?
It was busy. Friday it rained, so we did not go out to the fest on Friday, but we did some Gretna festing this weekend. We also hit up Fried Chicken Fest, and it was just like a jam-packed weekend full of lots of steps. I definitely got my steps in this weekend.
I did too. I did. Rory and I went on like a 6 mile walk, or no, it was like no, we only went on like a 1 mile walk. I did like 5 miles yesterday. It was crazy. Just trying to get my steps in. And while the weather is nice before it's like just the walking pad season, you know?
That's true. I don't think about that because it's still like that fake fall where it kind of reverts back to summer. And so this weekend was like beautiful, but it was also like really hot.
Yeah, fall is late this year here. It's really sitting at it was like 80 degrees all weekend, and then today it's like, ooh, I'll be 65 today. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And so leaves are like, okay, I'm gonna fall now.
I don't even know what that life is like.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was like until I moved here. So the South is not very conducive to a fall environment. And the leaves are pretty, don't get me wrong, but it's annoying when they fall and you have to pick them up.
Oh, I
Like,
can imagine.
I mean, it's like a ton of leaves, like not just like one or two. It is like trees worth of leaves.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun. I'm like, oh, I want to look at all the colors, but I don't want to like rake leaves.
Well, and it's really like it's great. The leaves are great because like it helps produce butterflies and like into different seasons, like the way it breaks down or something. I don't know. Like it's supposed to you're supposed to leave your leaves. But the problem is if you leave it in certain parts, your grass just shrivels up and dies. And so it's like I try to leave the leaves in like the flower beds because they'll turn into mulch. And I try to leave them in certain places, but for the most part, you got to pick them up or it just kills your grass you
Yeah.
know, fun
You could
times.
also let your 6-year-old spray some weed killer and kill your entire lawn because we did that.
Why?
I mean, we had weeds, and so it was initially just like supposed to be a light spraying to get rid of the weeds, but he was very thorough and took his job very seriously, and he ended up killing like our entire lawn in the front and the backyard. So now we finally have like normal, healthy green grass again, but it took a while to grow back.
Why didn't you just have them pick them up?
I
Like
don't know. I
pull
didn't
the leaves from the ground, like that kind of energy.
because I didn't think about that. Anyway,
Uh,
let's get into today's topic. We're already digressing so far.
Today's topic is friendships as adults, which is, I don't know, it's a fun topic. I mean, it's a hard thing for some people, and I think a lot of people struggle finding friends as adults, especially if you're like me and you move a lot.
Or like you also do a lot of remote working, so you don't have an office to rely on making work friends.
Yeah, very true. And it's I do spend a lot of time on Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think this is an interesting topic. And I'm sure we'll literally digress into a lot of off topics here. However, um, I think I do get asked a lot because I move a lot, how do you make friends at your age? And in my 30s, I'm in my 30s, I'm going to be 40 in January, and I find that like every time I move, depending on the location, it's always a different route. I will say that Texas was the hardest because I lived in small town Fredericksburg, and where like half the population that's actually lives there uh are over the age of 60, a lot of retirees and stuff like that. So that was always fun. However, I mean, and a lot of my friends, were a couple of my friends were in their 60s, that I would hang out with. I mean, it was my most diverse age group ever.
I love that though.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't talked well, I talked to one of them recently. And then a couple others. I mean, they're younger. One's in their 50s, one's in her mid 40s. And then and Evelyn, who I talk to, she's in her 30s, but
Yeah.
Evelyn and I talk pretty frequently. So I do enjoy um my variety of friends.
Yeah, for sure.
But all of my friends here that I got in Ohio was because I'm an Instagram stalker.
Stop it. Did you like slide into people's DMs?
Not like slide into DMs. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I want to know this person. And there were events that I went to when I like realized people were like sharing events. I'm like, okay, well, I'll go to this event and like introduce myself. I also have no fear when it comes to that. I will literally walk up to anyone, tell them, hi, I know you, and I follow you on Instagram.
That's so bold. You're so brave. I love it.
How would you do it if you were to move and you needed to meet friends?
Oh,
Well, I mean, you go to the gym, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I still am friends with like people that I've worked with throughout the years. Like, because it's like you spend so much time with these people that you see them more often than you see your family for years at a time. And so I still keep in touch with a lot of my work friends, from the past. And I mean, obviously there's Megan and now we're business partners. So I don't know, that was just like a work thing that like grew into more because of proximity, I guess. Um,
Meg, you're friends by proximity, just so you know.
that's not what I meant. Like we would have become friends anyway, but like the universe brought us together by working together. And so, of course, now we have like a lot more in common and she's like the yang to my yin, it's interesting. But I don't know. Like obviously I have like people that I meet at the gym and but I really think that if I were to have to move to a whole new place, I would probably have to like get a job or something to meet people because I don't see myself just like walking up to somebody and be like, "Oh, I follow you on the internet and I think we should be friends in real life." I just am not no.
That's literally how I became friends with Val. I went to like one of her events, and Wendy, my physical therapist, who I literally forced her to be my physical therapist because she was not taking new patients. I went to an event I knew she was going to be at, and I told Wendy, I was like, hi, I'm going to be a new patient of yours. And she was like, well, I'm not taking new patients right now. I emailed her and texted her for like 3 weeks until she took me.
Wow. I would never.
And then she was like, and then when I was like seeing her, she's like, you need to meet my friend Val. And Val and so I went to one of the events at like this arcade place here. And then they had a bunch of like small businesses pop up. And I showed up and I was like, hey, Wendy said we need to be friends. And now Val and I co-work together like once a week at a coffee shop and we hang out and stuff like that. It was pretty funny.
I love that. Honestly though, like every like really good friend of mine I have met through working for the most part, working or working out, which now at this point in my life are one and the same because I'm working in fitness. So I really don't know. I would probably have to get a job if I move somewhere.
And it's so funny because like I go to the gym like 3 to 4 days a week, but I go to a gym where it's not like class based. It's like I would never go up to someone during their workout and be like, "Hi, let's be friends." But I'll do it at a coffee shop. And when you're like, working and I'm like, "Oh, hi, what do you do?" I literally made friends with the coffee shop owners today when there's this new coffee shop here and I was chatting them up because they weren't busy. It's like, "Hi, I'm Erin."
That's so you. Honestly though, you bring up some good points because of the two of us, I am obviously the more introverted one, which is funny because I talk to strangers for a living by teaching classes, but they don't stay strangers for very long. So it's like these people, especially ones who come in as regulars, like I see them all the time. I get to know them and like form whatever sort of relationship we're gonna have. And then you can always kind of tell if you're gonna actually really hit it off with somebody and become like a deeper friendship, if that makes sense.
100%.
But yeah, I just don't ever really see myself walking up to a stranger. So what would you say, like, if I were to move somewhere and I had to make friends and I was self-employed for whatever reason at that time, how would you suggest I make friends?
I mean, it does sound weird, but honestly, like going on Instagram and sending someone a DM, or like even if you just follow them and like their stuff, and then you comment, actually, Alex is another friend here. She's very introverted compared to me. And I started following her account where she shows like the architecture and stuff in the Dayton area where I live. And I DM'd her one day and I was like, yeah, I just moved here from Charleston. And we just kind of kept messaging. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day I was like, do you want to grab lunch? And we went and had brunch at this really great restaurant. And it also introduced me to the restaurant. And because we had been messaging, it wasn't like as weird. Like I didn't just like jump into her DMs like, I moved here, let's grab lunch, right? It
Yeah.
was like some messaging at first. So it was a little less, weird. But, honestly, it is because, like, when you go to an area, or at least when I do, I look for small businesses almost immediately. It's just my gut reaction.
Yeah.
And those are the people I usually do end up, I guess, you know, recognizing as kinship because as a small business owner, it's kind of my thought process. However, that's not everyone's thought process. And there are apps like Bumble for friends and stuff like that,
I
that
was just
like
thinking about that. Like, I would probably have
yeah,
to do Bumble BFF.
yeah, if I wasn't as ballsy as I am, that is definitely the route I would go because you can find the right network of people that way too. If you're at, you're not it's easier if you're working, right? You can connect with someone at a job.
Yeah.
Like at a physical job. Like I work, but I don't work at a job. And so I don't have coworkers per se, and that's how you meet people. But like also, like if somebody were to be like, "Hey, I know you used to live in Charleston. Um, do you know anybody I could connect with?" Because I would totally be like, "Oh yeah, sure. What do you do?" Like I could connect you to the right people. You can meet this person or
Yeah.
like, that's kind of another thing I would do. Like, oh, I would totally connect. So if like someone who used to live in the area you're moving to, that's another good thing you could always do.
That's really smart. I mean, I feel like my first, my first best friend was from in kindergarten. And I just walked up to her and was like, "Hey, do you want to be friends?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then we were friends. And like that was it. We stayed best friends for a very long time.
How
Um,
unlike you. How unlike you.
did I mention I was in kindergarten? I was like
Oh.
4. So yeah. So that was like I used to be that person, I guess. But somewhere along the way I got really awkward.
Well, you did. But
Wow.
okay, but like all right, obviously we have known each other for many years by proxy of college. Obviously, we knew who each other were in at LSU, like when we were both at LSU. But like we didn't become friends till we were literally 30, right? We
And
come
like,
up on our 10-year friend anniversary next year.
right, but why is that? How did we become like how did we take it to the next step? Was it you? I feel like it was you.
That's always me. However, our friend Jess essentially brought us together because didn't what was it? Did we go like she brought each of us as dates to our weddings.
Yes.
So that's how like it kept getting like folded in. But I think there was an event before that. Like the three of us like went to an event together or something.
Right, because I remember like we were friends before I just like crashed your wedding.
Right. Which didn't I crash yours? No, no, I got married. I got married first. That's right. You got
Yeah.
married in January this year or
Yeah.
next year. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think there was an event before that we all like Jess was like, "Hey, let's go to this event. It'll be me, you, and Fallon or something like that." And we went to like some event. And then we just kept hanging out And then
Okay.
we showed up at, I think I mean, it was fairly, but it was fairly quick because then it was like we were texting and talking all the time. I
Yeah.
was the first one to find out you were pregnant before even your husband. I think.
A couple people found out before he did.
Does he
Because
know
I think I
that?
was like, I don't know. I guess he's gonna find out.
I can delete that part.
I also like remember like in that moment, like calling like my parents. And my dad was in the middle of Home Depot and he was just like, I was like, oh, I'll talk to you later. Like, it's fine. He's like, no, tell me what you need to say. I was like, Dad, call me later. It's fine. But him being him was like, no, just tell me now. And so I told him, I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. He starts crying in the middle of, it was Lowe's. He was at Lowe's. Starts crying in the middle of Lowe's, screaming to everybody around him, oh, my daughter is pregnant. And I'm like, oh my God, this is why I said to wait until you were home. But
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that. What else? And then we ended up throwing an event together with like me, you, and
Yeah, that was a lot of
Jess.
fun.
We threw
Um,
that event. Yeah, that was fun. And then
I
that
know,
was
I really,
like the beginning of that friendship. I don't like that whole year. It was like we hung out all the time. And then we were like always together when I lived in Louisiana. I mean, trips to Waffle House when you were pregnant at 10 o'clock at night. We took a Spanish class together.
I was enjoying that class so much, and I was just talking about that the other day, how I want to find something like that
Did
again.
you see? She sent out an email like 2 days ago that she's opening up to a remote Spanish class.
Oh, I need to check my email then because I'm sure I got it.
Well, you need to check your email anyway, because I'm pretty sure I sent you stuff in the email.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, obviously. Uh, okay, friendships, right? So, yeah, so Fallon and I became friends mainly because I am a forceful pain in the butt. I'm trying not to curse in this episode so we can keep it clean.
Oh, yeah, good point. But honestly, like I will say, with the exception of there was one other time in life where I approached somebody and said, we need to be friends, and that was Christian.
Oh, yeah, I pretty much
Because
forced myself on him too.
I think we all did in some way because that was a situation where I was working and he knew basically every single person who I worked with. And he was having a conversation with one of them. And I just inserted myself because I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but I think we need to be friends. And that was it. I was just like, we're going to be friends. And I remember seeing him on campus for the first time, like outside of like the mall. And I was like, oh, look, there's my new friend. And I like got excited and I like waved at him and he walked right past me. And when I tell you walked right past me, I mean, you, for those of you who know Christian, he had his headphones in because this is before AirPods. And I could clearly tell that he was listening to, and this was also going to tell you like how long ago this was. He was clearly listening to Shut Up and Let Me Go by the Ting Tings because that's the beat he was walking to. And he walked right past me. And I did one of those things where you like wave and then you're like, oh, oh, and you like tuck your arm away because you're like, I wasn't waving at anybody because I just completely got ignored.
Oh, I mean, I forced my friendship on Christian because I worked with him.
I
I
remember that.
remember I started working for him at Coach, and I literally made him take like invite me everywhere.
And then that's how we kind of became like a little trio and then
Yeah.
is expanded and grown from there. But yeah, that's the only other person that I just remember like walking up to and be like, we're gonna be friends. Other than that, it's kind of like happened like so like as an example, with my friend Vanessa, she started sending me like random DMs about the gym because I was her coach. Damn it, I keep saying So I was her coach and she would send me like random DMs about like gym memes or gym reels that reminded her of me being like a drill sergeant. And it just kind of grew from there of like us sending stupid stuff back and forth. And then I don't know, we just like hung out in real life. We're like, oh, like I guess I kind of like you. And so we're like really good friends now. And that group has kind of also expanded and but I don't think I really was responsible for that. Like I feel like that was she put in the effort and then I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm gonna match this effort," and like, but there's just some people you just click with. And so you have to put yourself in those situations to click with people. But
agreed. I think one of the hardest things about moving around as much as I do is the fact that like maintaining friendships it is hard. It's a lot of work, right? We and it comes from both parties, and that's when you really kind of figure out who I'm not saying it's like who my real friends are, right? It's just the people who are willing to put in as much work. It's the reason why friendships stay maintained.
yeah, I agree with that, but I also think that there's some friendships that like I have friends that I don't talk to very often at all. But
Oh,
when we see
definitely.
each other, it's just like no time has passed. We fall right back into those patterns of like being like great friends. And it's it's perfect. But then there's also those people who like you talk to every day, you text all the time, and then you do teach her, obviously it's great. You love hanging out. But then there's also, I feel like I've gotten really good about boundaries because I used to have like very minimal boundaries when it came to friendships and I was a giver and wanted to be like a people pleaser. Like I wanted everybody around me to be happy and wanted people to like me. And so I think you have to like know what boundaries you have because givers want to just keep giving, but the takers don't really have boundaries, so they'll just keep taking. And it's like I call them energy vampires, and they will literally suck your energy. And so noticing like how I feel when I'm around certain people is another way that I've kind of like tuned into those friendships and the ones that like fulfill me versus like draining me, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
definitely. Yeah, I definitely have friends like that too, for sure. Especially like the ones that like, I can fall right back into place with, and the ones that it's like the effortless stuff like that too, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to say this, but like I feel like sometimes I am the energy vampire.
No, believe me, I tell you if you're being an energy suck. But I don't, but it doesn't feel like that when you're having a conversation with somebody who you feel really connected to and close with. I think it
True.
only becomes an energy vampire situation where you realize that you might not feel the same way about that friend as they feel about you, or if their feelings are misguided. Because I think sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I've been in situations where people have proposed themselves as like my friends, but they disliked me all along, if that makes sense. It's like they
Well,
want, it's not like keep your enemies closer, but I don't know.
yeah.
Like I've been in a situation multiple times at this point in my life where I felt like things ended very poorly and I didn't really know why. But after that person was removed from my life, I felt like a weight lifted, if that makes sense.
So I don't know if it's necessarily that I think what that is you have people when they project their insecurities on to you as a person. Instead, it turns into like whether it's jealousy or it turns into they start to dislike you because there's something you're doing or you're doing well that they want to do well in whatever it is they're doing with their lives. And instead of it being like, oh, I'm so proud of you, it becomes jealousy or an
Yeah.
insecurity. And then people project. And I feel like that's where friendships get lost and confused
Hmm.
when we have our own inner work to do and we don't do. And it gets put on to the people we care about.
Yeah. And I think I've been through enough of those like negative friendships and relationships that I am very guarded when it comes to opening up to people. So it's like the new friends that I do make, it it takes a little bit for me to like fully just like let my guard down just because I have been so like burned before. Like you know about the time where that one person invited me over and like had a whole like charcuterie spread and like wine. It was a very lovely looking evening. And then she proceeded to tell me all of the reasons why she thought I was a horrible friend and how I could go about fixing that to like make her feel better. And I think that was
Wow.
like the point in my life where I was like, hold up, what?
Well, and recognizing those people is kind of key in, not subjecting yourself to rude people.
I would think I
And
would just like,
that's, well, and I feel like that person, I guess they thought they were setting a boundary or communicating how they felt, but like that's not how that works. That's projecting your problems onto someone else.
yeah. So needless to say, that did not end well. Um,
I would assume not.
yeah.
Uh,
But
I mean,
I
I
wish
know
I
that
could,
story, but yeah.
yeah, I wish I could say that was like the only time something crazy like that has happened. Been like, I would say a good 3 to 4 like major friend blowouts I've had in my life. And they've all been very dramatic and very like
Ugh,
devastating. And it's like you feel this like it's you literally have to like mourn the loss of that person in your life
yeah,
before you can like move on and like be friends with other people. So I think now I'm at a much healthier place with my relationship with myself, first of all, because I understand what I am worthy of and what I bring to the table. Whereas some of these people didn't deserve what I was offering at the time. So it's fine. And I'm okay
definitely.
with that. Like I've made my peace. Um, I always remember these things. Like I'm never gonna forget, but like I forgive. Like I'm like, it's cool. Whatever you were going through at that point in your life, like I get that that was something probably tough for them too, but I don't wish anybody any ill will. I'm just like, you do you over there. I'm good right here.
Yeah, I've been burned a few times. Honestly, and I forget. Most of the times I like literally, I'm like, who are we talking about again? I don't know. I can't hold on to things because for me, if it like, it'll fester into an infection if I let it
So
sit.
I literally do not forget. I will never forget. Like if somebody's burned me, that is burned into my brain. I'm never going to forget that. I will forgive you in the sense that I will move on. I will let it go. And once our pieces are said, like that's it. We don't need to keep bringing it up. But things will never be the same.
Yeah,
Like we can go on and I'll be cordial, like we can see each other in public and it's fine. But like we're never going to be on that level again.
yeah.
Like you lost that access to like my inner like circle, heart, whatever. Um and so it is what it is. And now I don't really, not that I don't care as much, but I'm not as easily surprised when somebody shows their character or their like ill intentions or whatever it may be, whatever they're going through, whatever they're projecting. Um, I'm less surprised by this anymore. So I'm actually more surprised when I'm like, wait, I actually really like this person and they seem like a genuinely cool person and I think we should actually be friends. Like that to me is more surprising than somebody being fake,
Yeah.
which is kind of, I guess, sad.
Well, and but that's why I get like when I hear people say no new friends, it's like I get like, maybe you have a great group of friends where you live and you'll have a tight-knit group. Like that's understandable. But I feel like when you say no new friends, you're not allowing yourself any opportunities or any, you know, potential for something great. And I always get a little frustrated when I hear people say that. Because I take that literally, not, I do. I'm like, okay, well, no new friends. I'm not even going to try to be friends with you. And so I hate when I see stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
see it often anymore. I feel like people are a little less stubborn, there, but I
Honestly,
have
with some of my friends, I do feel like I need new friends because I'm like, really? This is this is what we're doing?
Christian, we're talking to you.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Accurate. No, accurate. Because he's so rude, but somehow we still love him. So I don't know. It's a
How do we
little
love
toxic.
him? How do we love him more when he says the things he says? What do we love toxicity that much?
Red flag. He's a walking red flag.
He's gonna hate us for this so much.
Actually,
If
he's probably going to feel honored that we have spoken so highly of him because he knows that he's a walking red flag.
he is a walking red flag, he's a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Yeah, or that. Oh, I can't wait till Trevor listens to this too.
Because he's also a
Uh,
Sagittarius.
I
But
know. But
it's
totally
just,
different spectrum.
yeah.
Like totally different, those two.
But it's
Yeah,
true. Like, that's the, like, he's probably the only person I'll take friendship abuse from. And it's because I know that that's how he shows his love.
I was gonna say that's like a whole new level of love language, being in donkey's butt. I'm trying not to curse.
That's
Oh,
fair. That's
who
fair.
knew how hard that would be for me? My husband is right. I have a mouth on me. uh,
Anal.
anyhow. So yeah, but if anybody, look, I'll start a chat in the Substack, and that way you people, or like even on our Instagram, if anybody has their tips on how to make friends as an adult, or like, even if you just need like a little boost of encouragement to reach out to someone, I mean, but as an introvert, I mean, you're what, an introverted extrovert or
I'm
whatever.
an extroverted introvert. Like, in my real life, I do feel like I am more of an introvert, but like on obviously on social media, I don't present as an introvert because I do a lot of things at places and I'm always down to like try a new restaurant or things like that. And it's like started a book club and I've opened it up to like random people on Facebook. And so like we're gonna meet up in person and I haven't met these people before. So I would say maybe a book club is another good way to meet people.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
good
then
one.
there's a couple like social book clubs in the area, and I've been meaning to like check out their events and things like that. So it's like by doing those things and putting myself out there in those situations, it would be opening myself up to meeting new people and expanding my friend group because all my friends keep moving.
Especially if you move somewhere in like the month of March, or like the month of March is like Women's Month, right? And there's International Women's Day in March. And there's always like women type of events, like female events that you can go to if you identify as a woman or as a female. And that's always a good way to like engage, but also there's networking events that you can just go to even if you are you don't have to be a small business owner.
Vanessa has
um
forced me to go to a couple of those.
yeah, networking events are a great way to meet people too. And I mean, like if you go and sit and work at a coffee shop and you see someone, drinking a matcha, working on their computer, that looks like they could be a cool person, although I say never judge a book by its cover, then I mean, just say hi. You never know. I don't think it's weird.
So, um, what I was reading something recently, and it was like a challenge to yourself, like a challenge to just like say hi to a stranger, like every day for however long. So I don't know.
I mean, I do it. Oh, wait, you froze. Sorry.
Oh,
I do
sorry.
it.
That does not surprise me. I mean, I say hi to people like when I'm walking down the street, like
That
acknowledging.
doesn't count. It's not connecting with someone.
Well, like I said, work in progress. So maybe I will take a note out of your book and
Try.
pick somebody to DM that I want to be friends with and hope that they don't suck.
Well,
You
whatever.
know what? this weekend I'm going to ACL by myself
There you go.
and I'm gonna make a friend. There we go.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to send me a photo.
Of me and the and my new friend.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And you can't, I know what Brandon looks like now, so you can't send me a picture of Brandon.
I mean, obviously he doesn't count because we've been friends for like 20 years at this point.
Oh, we're now besties, besties.
Oh, I know. I don't think I like this. That's another thing is when you are friends with somebody. So I know like all of my friends have pretty much at one point or another met each other. And so it's like I have my friends from like the past that I've been friends with for like years at this point versus like my new friends. And at some point in time, like they're gonna cross paths. And like I need them all to get along because I don't have the energy to keep my friend group separate. Although I don't know how I feel about y'all being besties because I don't like when my friends become friends and then they gang up on me.
I mean, Christian and I ganged up on you a little bit in New York.
Yeah, but we do that to you too, so that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You know me. Plus,
But
I don't live anywhere near y'all, so you're safe.
I know, but y'all can still like I'm like, what are y'all DMing about? Are you
Oh,
laughing?
we DM'd. We even did like a little like flash fire, tell me about yourself.
Stop it. It's because he's getting back on all these dating apps, so he's like working on his conversational skills.
It was pretty funny because I was like, I feel like I'm pitching myself right now.
You probably, in his mind, you probably were. It was an
Oh,
audition to
okay.
see if you're qualified to be my best friend.
Well, I think 10 years helps with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've known him for 20, so he gotta like put you through the ringer.
I mean, I got a little bit of cred here, okay?
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about this, but whatever.
We'll see. Don't worry. I don't
It's like
make
I need
things
my friends
difficult.
to all be friends, but I don't want them to become better friends than they are with me. And I know that sounds terrible.
Oh my God. Oh, that is
You know
kind
what I
of
mean?
funny. I know. I know. I'm like, wait, you have new besties? No, you can't have new besties.
But I
Vanessa.
also,
But Vanessa needs to watch out. Her Veronica post. I was like, girl, I will come after you.
meanwhile, she also is obsessed with you, so
No,
whatever.
I love her. She's great. Ah, she's awesome. I love her. But I was like, wait, what? Who is Betty and Veronica? No. Don't worry. I get it. I have those feelings too. I just
But at the
typically
same
keep
time,
them.
like I'm not like so if she wants to go do things with her other friends, like
Yeah.
and I'm not a part of that, that's totally fine with me because I don't get to just stay home in sweatpants enough. So I'm like, I don't feel like you have to include me for everything. It's like, yes, I
Right.
like to be included, but
Right. But when I was like, oh, I'm going to hang out, and you were like, who is this Val?
I do remember like, do I need to be worried?
Do I need to be worried? Nobody will come between us, Fallon. Don't forget, we are essentially a married couple.
Yeah. Soulmates can be friends. Like it's not
Uh,
just
yeah.
yeah.
No, nobody will ever understand our friendship.
No. I don't think they want to, but it's okay.
I'm gonna stop recording.